Oh, wait a minute. We're not streaming to crypto or to Twitter. Let's see. Wait. Oh my God, I'm going to do this on live stream. Premium exits. We need because our premium lapsed. We can't go live on X. What a nightmare. All right. Let me do this from my phone. Sorry for you, those of you watching on YouTube. I had no idea this would even be a problem. I've been cucked by Elon Musk yet again. Did it work? This is crazy. Okay. All right. Go live. Oh my God, dude. It literally won't let me do it, even though I got premium. This is crazy. Okay, I guess we'll just have to do this to YouTube. What a nightmare. We'll have to upload this later. Let me message North here. Hey, I see you there, Beavis. Hold on. I think what we're gonna have to do is, we got some YouTube audience, but we're gonna have to just do this to YouTube, record it, and upload the rest to X. I think we're doing this live on stream. Let's see. Anyone in the audience?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Hey, Daniel, nice to see you. Okay, thanks for joining us. Let me do the intro, and then we'll just go on without it. We'll go on without the X crowd today. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, okay. It's been a tough week in crypto. It's been a crazy week, right? We've had the largest heist in history, larger than the bank heist of the National Bank of Saudi Arabia during the Iraq War. We're talking over $1 billion pulled out of the system, now actively being laundered through crypto. We've also had massive revelations about the meme coin pump and dumps from Trump, Melania, and even Libra, thanks to Coffeezilla. It's been diabolical. Things might seem worse than ever. Is there even one righteous man in all of crypto? Can we be saved? Or will this be like Sodom and Gomorrah and we'll be smited from existence? Because that's kind of how it seems like it's trending. Well, I've got good news for you, because even though we had a lot of bad stuff happening in crypto, there was some good stuff. And if you're on X, you saw our DeFi AI Summit, or as we came to the conclusion, it should be called the AI-Fi Summit, whatever. But we've had that happen. And we're also continuing to build just in general. We've had the largest update to the Codex app ever come out over the weekend. And we're going to be talking about that today. So it's not all doom and gloom, guys. Things are looking up. And let's get into it. Let's start the show, guys. Appreciate you being patient with me.
Got that CDX token. We the ones chosen. Every stake, every view, while I stay golden. Codex Club. AI my focus. It's an anthem. CDX got them frozen.
Hey, Beavis, how you doing today? It's going to be a skeleton crew. We've deployed Charles to ETH Denver to conduct business on our behalf.
This is a cursed episode, but maybe a sign of better things to come somehow.
I don't know if we'd say so much as cursed. I think this one is a beautiful present, maybe wrapped in a little hideous little package, just because Elon Musk has cucked me once again. I was unaware that you're not allowed to live stream on X without your premium. Our premium lapsed while we were trying to upgrade the account, but whatever. We're getting to the bottom of it. We'll fix it. So sorry to you X guys who are watching this later. We're going to be uploading the whole video later. Don't worry. You'll see this. But yeah, and shout out to our YouTube fans who are here. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to treat you right here with some hot and breaking news. But let's start at the top here, Beavis. we'll get into the Bybit stuff, but I want to talk a little bit about the DeFi AI Summit. How do you think it went? I feel like it was quite a success.
It was awesome, to be honest. We got a lot of really great feedback from the people that were speaking, the panelists. And honestly, like it went really well. I was
Yeah.
really anxious leading into it. You did a good job, dude.
Oh, thank you. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, feel free to check out the recordings. We're going to be continuing to upload clips and segments from it. It was 3 hours, but we covered a lot of stuff, and it was really informative, I think. I think it really kind of gave a really good idea of the current landscape for DeFi and AI kind of coming together from people that are actively involved, building and investing and really committed to the space. So you've got some really good ideas of where we're going and the challenges we're facing. And to brag a little bit, I want to throw this up there. We had some pretty good attendance, we freaking beat Coffeezilla, dude. And that was a pretty big interview, pretty big revelations there. So I want to thank everyone who watched that and is watching this now. But, after the summit, we were kind of hoping that we could really shift the space's focus, like, crypto Twitter, kind of pull them up out of the gutter, dude, right? Reorient them to something more valuable, the flight to utility kind of thing. And then we got blindsided, right? By Bybit. That's going to consume the news cycle. Yeah. And it's really bad news, but it's not all bad because, this was a kind of like a theme in the summit, was that like the retreating tide, right? Like as the hype kind of dies down in the market and bad things happen, you got to see what really has strength, right? In an earthquake, you see who's got strong foundations. And we saw that Hey Ainon was pretty strong. We also see that Codex is pretty strong in terms of price. We're not seeing the total collapse with $1.2 billion kind of free floating in the market. And on top of that, Cookie AI, Cookie.fun, Cookie holders are like erupting, dude. There's like more of them than ever. So our space is showing a lot of growth still, a lot of strength, a lot of stability. Are you noticing anything on your end, Beavis? Any kind of hesitancy, any kind of just to get involved in crypto at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's a lot of fear in the market right now. Like when I told people we were launching our token last week, they were like, dude, you're psycho. And I was like, yeah, that's okay. But I mean, frankly, I see $1.4 billion in ETH hacked from Bybit. And I basically see $1.4 billion in fresh borrow side demand for ETH.
Wow.
And eventually that will probably need to convert to $1.4 million of spot ETH purchase from the market. So, I think overall, like obviously, like bad for the industry. Bybit, I think, is one of the more reputable organizations, but they can cover it. And then net out, I think this is like a really strong signal for on-chain and non-custodial solutions. I think, and even like for custodial solutions, things like Copper Clear Loop, which is a third-party custodian whose assets you can use to trade on Bybit or use as collateral. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is just one more chapter in the great Overton window shift toward fully decentralized solutions. And obviously, like it was their safe app that was hit, and that is like a self-custody tool. But I think overall, like it was a very highly engineered attack, as would be warranted for such a huge payout. And I think overall, like scary headline for normies. But I think as application developers and as risk managers start thinking about optimal solutions, we're going to see more MPC wallets, get apps thinking harder about policy engines, et cetera.
I want to get a little bit more into Bybit a little bit later because I think there's a lot to say about it in terms of what it does or how it's going to affect us and how it's kind of affecting the market, how we're seeing it play out. Because it is kind of a mixed bag. It is, I mean, it's completely terrible that they got hacked, right? But there are some silver linings to this. Yeah. But let's start with this. I'm a little flustered because I got thrown off by that thing, by the X thing not working. But let's start off this is going to be a new recurring segment here. So I got an intro.
What's the big Tony without CDX? I'm breaking dichotomies.
We're breaking dichotomies here. I want to talk about some specific DeFi AI updates here because we had a really big one here for Codex Not only did we launch the CDX token, which I showed, do we want to talk? We've always been told we're not allowed to talk about the token. We're not allowed to talk about. Can we talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care either way.
I want to get your opinion on this because I was talking to some people about this, where it's kind of like, I don't want to oversell it. I don't want to say this is bullish or whatever, but I do want to say, like, I think this is a pretty decent sign of a healthy token, right? You had a massive sell-off, which you kind of expect, especially when you're airdropping, and then it kind of the demand fills in that gap, and you kind of level off, right?
Yeah.
I think that, and especially with the bad news week, we're looking pretty good here, and especially once we start to kind of discuss more of like the actual utility of the token and how you're going to use it. I think we're in a pretty good spot. What do you think, Beavis?
Yeah, I mean,
as you hoped.
Yeah, I think like I expected like turbo selling just because the market is down. We gave out 40% of the supply, and to be honest, like we're leveling out in a market with like zero buy side demand, in a pretty good spot. And really, our entire launch is purely long-term oriented. The reason that you launch with low float or rather high float, low FTV is so that people who don't want to be part of it sell for cheap, frankly. And you want to basically force people out that want to get out at the lowest price you can possibly get them out, which means the people that are more long-term oriented and more aligned with the vision can match the other side of that trade. So like the fact that we're maintaining like a decent range with a lot of turnover tells me that, I mean, one, we'll probably see this for a couple more weeks, but two, we're getting people more aligned in the door, and call it exit liquidity, call it whatever you want. I think anybody selling any DeFi token at the moment is selling it at a steep discount. And that is net positive for us. It's net positive for companies like Anon. And I think overall it's a net positive for the new vertical. A lot of people that got hyped and dove in at insane market capitalization, in January and December, are now selling for much cheaper. And just, you either buy at a premium or you buy at a discount. And now's the time to buy at a discount.
Yeah, and it seems like it's interesting because the people buying kind of at a premium, you said earlier this year, they were doing so before kind of any serious value was really materializing in any of these assets.
Yeah.
So now we're starting to see real material value, real function being added to these agents starting to materialize. So, I mean, look, crypto is a whole other beast, right? But we're talking about fundamental, quote unquote, investing, right? You want something that actually does something, right? I'm thinking things are only looking up. But do we want to do a little demo here? I kind of want to show off kind of what.
Do it. I'd love to see it.
Really great work here. You see, I've got a couple bots already. I've got my 007. I got my Marin agent running. Let's see. Hey, I thought it was another person. It's just you, bro. Oh my god. All right, let's get started here. So as you can see, the new Codex app, still the same URL here. You can come in and try it now. Are there any barriers to get into this at this point?
Just to turn your agent on, at the moment you need 10 million Tony tokens, which is like $200. But we'll be moving that over to staked CDX or Tony here soon. So we've got a lot of bugs to fix this week. We just shipped this update last Friday. We're calling it kind of the day one update because this is the biggest update we'll ever need to ship. We transformed all the architecture. Excuse me, Jesus. I'm so excited. I'm dying. But yeah, we basically restructured everything so that we can create the super dynamic agents that people want. The agents where you can say, hey, go make me money. And it's capable of doing so.
Yeah. And this is like look, you guys are going to see this here. If you remember the first demos, a little bit more hands-on, a lot more typing involved. This one is a lot more, it's like a game, dude. It's actually pretty fun. It's almost like setting up like I don't know.
It's going to be the funnest Web3 game by the time we're done.
It's like a Tamagotchi almost thing, but like it makes you money, dude. It's like releasing a Tamagotchi into the financial markets. But let's go ahead and get started here. So as you can see, the first thing you get to do, let's give our agent a name. Let's call this one. If anyone in the audience has a name, jam it out here right now. But Bebus, let's like chat a little bit about it. What do you think a good name would be for our agent right now?
I think a good name for an agent would be Infinite Money Blast 9000.
Infinite Money Blast 9000. Let's call him
Infinite Money Blaster, maybe, just so it is more.
Yeah, we'll call him Infinite Money, dude. Let's just call him the Infinite Money. Infinite money. Yeah, I like that. Misspelled too. And give him a date of birth. You can give him any kind of date of birth you want. This is really all aesthetics at this point, right? This is just for fun.
Yeah, it will influence your agent's personality only, which doesn't influence its trading style.
Let's call him Boomer Bucks. And let's have him be born in 1950.
That's awesome.
January 1st, 1950. And origin. Now this is where it gets kind of fun, dude. What do you mean, like search origin traits or what? Like, so you can have him be.
I think Munchies was in a fever dream when he made this feature.
He can't
make him from Vietnam. Make him.
You literally can be from America. Like you can't make him be from the United States.
Yeah, of course. Why would we allow U.S. agents?
But he can be from the United Kingdom.
Application.
And the Trappist system. Okay,
you can be from Steam Earth, but you can't be from the United States.
Steam Earth, yeah, Quantum Earth. This is kind of just so silly, dude. Agartha Lemuria brought a smile to my face. Let's make him from.
Let's make him Colombian, dude.
Yeah, the most powerful of all the species.
Or Mexico. Just make it Mexican, man. Or Vietnamese. The two ultimate places.
Oh wait, so do these have traits actually attached to them?
Yes.
This is like a character's
personality.
Blends ancient wisdom with vibrant modernism, celebrating. Wow. Okay.
So he's like an indigenous. He's like Mexican.
I didn't even know this. So if he's from Nemesis Star, this is wild, dude. So this is like a video game character creator almost. Yeah. You're choosing your character's background. You can add additional background information.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like the most performant agents are going to have fully custom prompts, and people are going to dive in and really get down and dirty. But we just wanted to make the initial creation process fun and straightforward, and we want people to, as quickly as possible, be able to perform and outperform with their agent.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of set up so like the sliders here. You guys are going to see here. So we got his personality here. This is all you said. Not really going to. None of this part. These two parts are going to affect. Well, actually, nothing in the agent detail box is going to affect how he trades. It's just going to affect how he talks, right?
Yeah.
But then we get here. Now we're actually kind of choosing. I guess this is also kind of just more social, right? Like how he's going to communicate with people.
Yeah, it's you're basically just creating, like, this is called the 5-factor personality model. It's a pretty widely accepted way to model personalities.
It's a Jordan Peterson one, dude. You've been reading Jordan Peterson books, dude.
Well, it was invented in 1938. I'm not familiar with the works of Mr. Jordan Peterson, but I'm sure they're derivative.
This is an alt-right. This is an alt-right codex bot, dude. No, you're just changing. It's interesting here. You're choosing like a very broad personality, and then you're kind of getting more narrow here. So we choose like a very broad, silly kind of personality type. Then we can choose an archetype. So teacher, analyst, friendly, pure, expert, absolute troll. He's a boomer. I feel like he'd be an absolute troll. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolute
boomers
troll.
Can't resist trolling. It's like they're addicted to it.
And I think, and here's where you can this is the big 5 that you're talking about: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. So we're going to make him very open, I think. Curious guy, very organized. He's extroverted, but he's also kind of a challenging guy to deal with. He kind of, he doesn't really get along with a lot of people, and he's very sensitive.
Wow.
But this whole thing, this slider,
the best personality.
Very manipulative, so manipulable. So like you can have a very customized agent here. The personality can be very, very specified.
It's like the reason that we use highly adopted metrics like this. So 5-factor personality has been around since 1938. There's so much writing on this, And AI models have trained on all of this writing for the past 70, 80 years. You know, it's like it will give you way better results by going with
Mhm.
widely adopted scientific or pseudoscientific metrics. Like your AI agent will know what like an INTJ is. It will know
Mhm.
what the 5-factor personality model is. But if you try to give it something like totally custom, it's going to have to do a lot of intuiting. And the more you force your agent to reason or use intuition, the more prone it will be to failure.
Yeah.
Which is why you'll see across our app and even on the back end, the way we structure and model data, it all is reflective of the information that major AI models were trained on. So you'll see that throughout our application again and again. It'll be a very common theme. Basically, us mirroring the body of work as closely as possible that AI was born from.
Now I'm a little bit biased, but obviously I think that's very clever to rely on like an extensive academic. I mean, like this is based off of studying human personalities, right? And this is what these things are trying to imitate already. So why not go with what the professionals in that field have kind of identified as like the defining characteristics?
Totally.
Real cool stuff. Now let's move on to the meat of it here, right? Wait, we're still doing with engagement style here, actually.
This is purely the social element. So this is like if you want your bot to be a salesman, for example,
Mhm.
you might make it educational. You might make it proactive. He's looking for people to talk to. His personality, you might say, is formal because he's trying to sell you something, and his posting frequency would be high.
Mhm.
And like an agent that's meant to just crack jokes might be low frequency, more humorous, maybe analytical, where he's looking at the current events or news focused and commenting on them, and more reactive, where he's replying to people who reach out to him as opposed to the opposite. So this is really just to make developing the social prompt super quick, super easy.
Nice. Oh, no, sorry about my camera here. It's freaking out a little bit. That's quite clever. So you can design this personality for specific ends is basically it. Here, I'm kind of going through and just having fun, but it can have specific niches that it's almost like building an employee, if you will.
Yeah, basically everything we're modeling here is like human organizational structures. And that will be another recurring theme in our app. Like the way you organize your agent swarm is going to be the way you would organize a company, for example, or a team, with every agent occupying a role and the agents knowing to delegate tasks to the agents who are most optimized. So it's really cool. Like the end state, it'll be like almost like game dev simulator, or a similar simulation game where it's like, hey, I need more agents working on analysis. I need more agents working on research. I need more agents working on execution. And we will get it to a point where you won't even need to do all the customization. What you're seeing now is like a product meant for more technical users to master. And then once they master it, they'll be able to sell you their agent. And then you can be like, hey, I want to recruit this agent, this agent, this agent, that was made by people using Codex, or I want to make my own. And you'll be able to do a pretty good job no matter what.
Fascinating, dude. So we're gonna be getting into a spot where it's like, trading Pokemon almost, bro. We got a special guest here, Charles. I thought Charles was gonna be MIA forever, but he's found time to join us. Thank you so much, Charles.
Hello.
It's great to see. I hope things are going well in East Denver. We're just here making our Codex agent.
How are your sinuses?
My sinuses are fine.
Tell us tomorrow morning.
Okay. Is that because of the altitude?
Yeah, Denver's notorious for making you want to gouge your nose out and kill yourself.
I always get altitude signal where I just feel sleepy. But moving on here, we're almost to the juicy part here in the Codex agent builder. Just want to continue on with our theme. We're making a boomer bot, Charles. So his name is Boomer Bucks. I want him to post like a boomer. So we made his big five kind of reflective, I think, of the boomer zeitgeist. And he's proactive. engages in conversations. So he's going out, he's finding conversations and inserting himself, much like a Facebook user would. News focused. I feel like this is spot on. He's replying to news articles. He's humorous. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate, but it seems like it's always kind of funny when they reply. And he reposts a lot. So moving on. Now this is the real dashboard. Am I right, guys? This is where the magic happens, the meat.
Oh, yeah.
Right. This is what the people are probably really most excited for, is actually trading. How does he actually operate inside the market? Now, we've only got we made it a lot more user friendly in that there's just options now as opposed to having to type something out. But you can continue to hone this on the next page. But my question is, Bybit, these are the only 4 things I'm ever allowed to trade, dude. I can't even trade USDC.
We're going to be adding a ton of tokens soon. Right now, I think the main thing we want to do is get people trying micro cap, mid cap, and blue chip tokens, just so we can see how the agents interact and how profitable they are and what kind of strategies they develop. Really, we can add any token. I would say like our main focus right now is getting to the SoFon Spark campaign. And once we launch that campaign with SoFon, really the sky will be the limit. And we're going to work really hard to create a lot of flexibility and a lot of extra functionality in terms of the tokens you can trade and how you can trade them.
Okay, so we can expect once SoFon Spark hits, but right now we're gathering a lot of data essentially on the performance on, as you said, mid cap, small cap, large cap. Obviously, Bitcoin, large cap, virtuals, mid cap. Tony, legendary cap. Anyway, now we can move
CDX?
on.
Soon, sir. Soon.
What cap is that, Corval?
That's
my
ultra
cap, dude.
S
It's
class.
important to me. It's personal.
That's no cap. How about that?
That's a no cap token. Yeah,
Something's on the side.
there ain't no cap on that. That's smart. Yeah, I can't really miss that. So moving on, we get the trading style. We can go on here. I feel like this is most like actual crypto people as day traders, but I feel like a boomer is more of a position trader. You know what I mean?
I feel like swing trading is pretty popular in crypto, which is like how you would generally trade narratives, which are pretty short-lived. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy into this thing that's heating up. I can tell they just maybe had a KOL round or something. I'm going to sell and rotate into some beta and then rotate into the next beta, until I stop making money. That's what we see a lot of crypto traders doing. Position trading would be more like a more like risk-off traditional way of doing things. But crypto people.
So what do you think a boomer? I feel like a boomer is a position trader just because when I think of boomers, I think of them having big fat 401ks and real estate holdings.
Oh yeah, a boomer is not swing trading. He's got a family
trading.
Generally.
Yeah.
He's just trying to build a solid position in something that he doesn't need to worry about too much.
And he's definitely a trend follower. That's what I think. Now I like this. It shows you. Yeah, I feel like a boomer follows the trends, dude.
I feel like a boomer is more of a breakout trader. He's looking to accumulate gems before they pop off.
The boomer buys things because they're going up and then sells things because they're going down.
Okay.
That's how it's,
Yeah. That's how I think of it.
Actually.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are right.
Like he bought a bunch of real estate in like the 60s and 70s because people told him to do it, and now he's rich and he just buys SPY just because people tell him to do it too. Anyway,
smart.
But I wanted to point out I like this a lot too. In case you don't know what the hell we're talking about when we're saying these things, the little graph. I love this, dude. Whoever did this, give him a raise, Bybit. I love this animation, dude.
I'll raise him up toward the sun.
Yeah, raise him up towards the sun.
Burn and destroy him.
Like Simba. Anyway, trend following, and then we can go on to the risk profile, which I think is probably one of the more important parts of this. How aggressive are you going to be? How much capital are you going to risk? Now, my 007 agent, he's a spy. He lives on the edge. He's doing day trading and he's a degen. You know what I mean? Because he only lives once, right? Boomer, he's conservative, dude. He's conservative. He's so boring. He's so lame. He never bets more than
Every
2%
time
of his
every time
profile.
something pumps 5%, he's gonna dump his whole bag.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because I feel like we have to raise these. Like these are even the concern. Like we have to raise the floor on all of these. Like a degen in crypto is not
Degen is like
10%.
100x or
Yeah.
0. Yeah.
This
Like
is this is
conservative as
the
crypto is our degen here.
yeah. This is
So,
indicative of our, I
uh,
guess, like corporate mindset, like the company's mindset towards risk, as opposed to like maybe reflective of actual usership. Because, like you're saying, Charles, a degen is not risking 8 to 16% per trade. They're usually risking 50 to 75%,
Yeah.
true.
if
Yeah.
not 100 every time. This full porting. So I'm eager to see what everyone's feedback is on this, whether they like these ranges or not.
Yeah. I mean, I think the end goal is like being able to just move the sliders like you're trying to now.
Yeah, you see me.
Because at the moment, yeah, you just select it and it creates the profile. But we'll get to that point pretty soon.
But I think this is a big point in terms of like the UI UX stuff that we've always talked about on this show, about how this is supposed to help people that have no idea what the fuck is going on figure out what is going on. Very clear demonstrations of like, now this might be a little bit intimidating to someone who has no idea, but it doesn't take long to figure out like, oh, okay, I'm in this range, right?
Yeah.
This is how much I'm risking, how much I can win, right? I can only ever lose $3, but I can also only ever win 6. And then we have these beautiful summaries here. So as you can see, the app is progressing quite nicely. Now let's move to create bot. We're in the foundry. We're manufacturing the sucker.
Wow. And you'll see, you'll probably see a bug here that'll be fixed later today, where there are toast notifications. So every time your prompt finishes completing, it'll send you a notification saying social strategy complete or something like that. Social interactions generated successfully. And now what it's accidentally done is it's put the notification in as the prompt instead of the prompt. So when you go to your next page, your agent's prompt will just say social interactions generated successfully. So these are, we just shipped this on Friday. So we have some stuff to fix, but his personality was successfully generated there. We need to figure out what your screen's aspect ratio is.
I think it's because I'm zoomed in some.
There we go.
I see.
I zoomed in some so people could see a little bit better, but I don't know if that's really that much better. I'm curious to see here. Well, let me throw it on this screen. This screen's a little bit bigger. How does this look?
Wow.
I was also wondering if we could change the PFP of the agent.
Yeah,
we'll be able to eventually. The thing is, like, anytime you let someone upload images to your site, it's much more complicated than it sounds because of content moderation and compliance, privacy, etc.
We don't want to pump fun chat or whatever that was. Video upload.
It's something that we'll spend a lot of time on, but not right now. It's like a quality of life feature. Everybody will have to be sad and gray for now.
It'll happen once we know we can trust the system to not put up horrible images for your agents. But let's go look a little bit more here into this dashboard, right? So we've got the personality description here. You could fund it here by sending relevant assets to this wallet here. This is your agent's wallet, right? Also got a QR code. Now, right now I have nothing in here, but this would populate with trades, correct? And
that's right.
Social media posts. And then we have a profit and loss chart here. And on-ramp fiat, I like this too, because again, like we're saying, getting people who are not into crypto and into DeFi at all, you can just come on with a credit card, dude. Why not? Never been easier. We're taking the Solana route, you know what I mean? Activate, deactivate. This is the lead up here. Is this like I could just delete the whole agent from here?
Yeah, we threw that in last second because I had like 100 agents and I needed to delete like 95 of them because they were clogging everything up. Because I demo it so often. I do like 100 cold outreach a week I'm trying to do, and that's like every time I demo it I name the bot after them.
Oh, nice.
To be cute. So yeah, I just get them stacking in on the side.
Very cute, Beebis. I'm sure that'll pay off. Now, finally, this is like to transfer out, right? Like to
Yeah.
transfer funds that your agent has generated back to you. So taking profit.
Kind of a janky button right now, but
Mhm.
everything will improve very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is still, I mean, the jump from the previous iteration of this app to this one, I think you called it a jump from version 0.1 to version 0.5 or something. It is a very significant leap, as you can tell.
Like 0.2 to 0.5, we re-architected everything with the purpose of creating agents that can do what people dream of. Because before it was like, okay, we were letting the agents execute trades every hour based on analysis, whatever. And that was because our system was pretty monolithic. It was fairly simplistic, and it was just a proof of concept. And with this, we've moved from proof of concept to enterprise-ready scalable application, which is designed to be event-driven, which means you can subscribe to an event feed, which could say be a price feed, and say, hey, when this price hits this value, I want my agent to spin up and execute a trade or similar. So now you can create really dynamic, flexible agents that are what, when someone says, hey, I'm going to have this AI agent trade for me, now they can be what people actually expect. And it's starting off with the scheduler at the moment, which is just using time as a trigger very flexibly. You can have it execute any task at any time. You can give it custom access to plugins or anything you'd like. And then, moving past the scheduler, it's like, again, like subscribing to price feeds, subscribing to volatility readings, subscribing to, trends on Twitter. Like if you see something trending to a particular level, you can start commenting on it with your agent. So this is all possible now, whereas in the last version, it was not possible. And you can see we have like 180 plugins that you can choose from. And this is basically like, you're going to send your agent out. What are you going to equip it with? So the tags are pretty terrible right now. We're updating those with help from the community. But basically, like, to give you an idea of how this works, if you send your agent out with 100 tools, it's going to have a hard time picking which tools to use. But if you send your agent out with 3 tools, 4 tools, 5 tools, its margin for error is going to be much lower, and it's going to be more consistently pick the correct tool. So what you're doing here is you're basically saying, hey, agent, these are the tools I want you choosing from when you're executing your action, which just makes your agent way more reliable. And it improves the flexibility simply because you can be much more specific with what you want that agent to be doing. You can also give it access to all the tools and just say, figure it out. And it will do a good job of figuring it out. But good job versus perfect job requires really fine tuning what kind of context you give your agent access to.
It's the classic issue with agents, right? It's where specificity is like the most important thing, right? Where I give you as specific a task as possible and give you as specific of a tool to accomplish that as possible. Right. It's one thing to tell someone to build a house. It's another thing to tell someone to nail 2 pieces of wood together and then you give them a hammer. Right.
Exactly.
It's a lot easier for the agents if you give them exactly what they need and tell them exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
So very cool. All these plugins, and I think the plugins are going to continue to expand. We're going to continue to get more and clean up that list some to make it a little bit easier to read. Very cool stuff here. And then you can come in and kind of, can you tinker with these, right? You can like,
Yep.
Yeah, I can change. You can modify the personality on the fly. Oh, you can chat with them. Hi,
The chat right now is basically simulating Twitter, so it will often choose not to reply. Otherwise,
oh, I thought that was like in line with his personality that I gave him. Actually,
no,
he just didn't want to talk to me.
Yeah, we'll be improving the chat, which it's like kind of a minor feature, we think. But you can ship it to production. You can have it start trading, and everything will be driven by the scheduler at the moment. And then in the next update or two, you'll be able to just choose from a pre-made schedule. like if you choose the day trader strategy, your schedule will come fully populated with the proper amount of trades, proper amount of inference. And then like as we keep pushing forward, being able to subscribe to the different event streams, being able to subscribe to, the price feeds, et cetera, to influence the trading strategies. That's going to be a really, really big step in the right direction for us.
Right on. Now, one other thing I've noticed is the generate button is not yet active, but I'm sure that's another small little bug. And last thing I kind of wanted to focus here is the signal weighting, which I always loved. Is you can tell it, what signals is it reading? How much does it care about them? Like I give a lot. I care so much about Bollinger Bands. It's the only thing that matters to me. Bollinger Bands and volume. That's all I want to see.
That's so
that's all my agent trades on. Doesn't care about chart patterns. Doesn't care about RSI or Allura. But yeah, and then if we were to finish this up, I would have to fund this with 10 million Tony.
You don't need to fund it. You just need to have it in your wallet. So right now, if you have 10 million Tony, you'll be able to use the app, and we'll add staked Codex to that list here soon as well, or just Codex tokens. We'll see. We're kind of spending all week working on this sort of stuff. So yeah, and then you fund it with some ETH. You can either onboard with a bank account or credit card, or you can transfer assets directly to your agent's wallet, and it'll start running, and it'll track its P&L and run the strategy that you gave it.
There we go.
Yeah. Very important point that you do not fund it with Tony. A lot of users getting in here, seeing that they need 10 million Tony, and then they immediately send it to the bot. Just keep it in your wallet, or else it'll probably trade your Tony away. Or maybe it'll buy more Tony. I mean, depends at these prices. But yeah, just have it in your wallet. I mean, less of an issue now because people can withdraw what they've deposited. The older version, we've been kind of waiting for the withdraw feature. But yeah, just have it in your wallet. Yes. One of my goals here at Denver is to meet builders who want to build on top of Codex. The plugins are definitely, I've been trying to, I just did like whatever 6, I'm already exhausted. The freaking networking is exhausting. Just my voice is already going, but it's a challenge when you have like, everybody's so busy. There's like thousands of people everywhere. It's a challenge when everybody has like about 10 minutes and you have to convey to them. It's like, okay, we're creating a no code. We have a no code agent creation tool. It's really dope. Trying to convey to them how dope our shit is over some other agent. Everyone's doing agent creation. It's like, oh, okay, you're doing an agent creation thing. Cool. Trying to convey to them how cool our stuff is a challenge in such a short amount of time, unless I have like a computer open. It's like, check this out. So anyways, that's something I'm gonna have to try and improve on over the course of the week. But
we should have equipped you with a big tablet so you could walk around and just
and I might actually just go get one like today. I should have the game beforehand, and just carry it around. The game.
Once you show them, I think it's a real game changer, because you can say, hey, this isn't vaporware, by the way.
But
like
everybody's going to say that. Far. Yeah, exactly. So I think just telling them about the Spark campaign, and getting, we're doing a builder boot camp. We want people to create plugins. Plugins are really dope. Anyways, it's going well so far, but it's just it's a bit of a challenge when everybody's trying to show everyone their shit. So. But it's fun so far. I met an old Mason. I met AS earlier today. Nice. I met Cat Dad as well. He was at the event. Nice. So good times. Anyone in the audience, if you're in Denver right now, hit me up. Let's get a coffee or a beer.
Hell yeah. And let Charles sell you on.
Especially if you're a builder.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'm glad it's going well. I'm glad you're having fun out there, Charles. Get some snowboarding in, dude. Stay an extra day. Get some snowboarding in, dude.
I'd love to.
Well, you have that opportunity anytime anyway. You live in a frozen wasteland, don't you?
Yeah.
It's not that special for you.
I don't need to go to Denver to get some skiing in.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, that was like we had a big hefty. I mean, it was a lot to talk about. It was a lot to cover because there was a lot that's changed in Codex Create. I think it's pretty evident that we're building, dude. We're building an actual product here. It's not vapor, and this. I mean, the prices reflect it, and our work reflects it. So don't be so scared, dude, about the big Bybit thing. Okay, don't be so scared of Hayden, a guy named Hayden, literally rugging you for billions of dollars of meme coins or whatever. There's good work happening out here. Now let's shift to news because I want to talk a little bit about Hayden. I want to talk a little bit about
Breaking news, gotta drop the bomb. Out of school since Marvel's prom.
Bybit. I saw Beavis that you went on like a show and you talked about the Bybit security issues. Do you want to give us like a quick rundown of like what actually happened? You mentioned briefly earlier it was their safe that got entered.
Yeah. I didn't. Did I go on a show? I don't even remember, to be honest. But
Grok says you did, and I don't think Grok would lie. Okay.
wow, that's we actually benchmarked Grok, and it's actually really good. It's just not as good as OpenAI.
Dude, don't say that, bro. We're already having trouble streaming to X.
I mean,
you're gonna
Elon,
say
dude,
that?
Elon, all your stuff is so good, man, and you're
There you go.
handsome.
Thank you.
You have so many kids. You're helping the world.
Thank
Give
you.
give us our Twitter enterprise, by the way. Yeah. So, I mean, long story short, someone executed a man-in-the-middle attack on them, which basically means they were able to get between the web app, being the safe app, and the actual end user. And they could have, like, in that pipeline, they could have attacked any part. So it's like they could have attacked the local computer, gotten in there, and been able to serve them up a fake front end when they went on the website. They could have gotten into the Safe Apps servers, their web servers, because they do a lot of server-sided rendering, and they could have rendered a bunch of fake information. There are
How does that happen? How does that happen? Is that like a connecting? Like if I were to connect to like a public Wi-Fi and someone is just like hijacking my connection, so like I'm instead of going directly to the server I want to go to, I'm routing through their server.
Potentially, honestly, they probably exploited a bug that nobody is familiar with, frankly. To steal $1.4 billion, you generally need to be sitting on like a 0-day exploit, maybe in Google Chrome or whatever browser they were using. But it can happen really anywhere. If there is a server or a computer connected to another computer, you can hijack that connection. You can hook that connection and have it route somewhere else. And obviously, like, there are a lot of unproductive ways to route it. Like, it'll be pretty obvious if, something is displaying to you that you don't expect. But where it gets really tricky is if they display you exactly what you're expecting to see, and then getting you to click a button, getting you to sign the transaction, because they're probably not hooking into MetaMask or Rabby or Ledger or any of these other hyper secure services. So they need to trick you into signing with those, which is kind of the last defense generally. And what I heard, and this is unsubstantiated, I only saw it secondhand, is that an issue with ledgers, if you've ever used Ledger, is blind signing. It will tell you to sign something and you have no freaking clue what the hell it is because it's not in plain English. You just see bytecode and you're like, okay, I assume that's correct. And when you're interacting with a safe that has $1.4 billion in it, you can't be doing that. You honestly, they shouldn't be custodying that money in a multi-sig period.
This was my question. Is like, okay, yeah, like with that amount of money, I just am surprised that they're going through like, whatever normal, like small treasury management practices of like, a DeFi team that has like 100K in their thing, and they're like doing the same thing with 1.4 bill. I don't know. That kind of.
It's like this issue could have been prevented, for example, if Optimism has this policy where they just increase an allowance. They never call the transfer function. They only call the approve function. So they approve an expenditure of a set amount. So it's pretty hard for them to mess up. Obviously, they could improve infinity to somewhere, but as long as address A and address B are correct, they've done enough due diligence on address B to not get all their money stolen. And then even if you're blind signing, it's like, oh, obviously that looks correct. Cool. And, if you're under attack, it's hard to control for variables like that. It's hard to control everything in general, but it's like Coinbase has, an institutional custodian as part of their business, whether as like just a product or a subsidiary. I don't know if Bybit has that necessarily. And I don't know if I would consider the Safe app to be an institutional grade custodian, to be honest. And we use the Safe app every day, Charles. Would you trust the Safe app with $1.4 billion?
No, I would not do that.
It does seem like simple
definitely
best practice. I mean, the allowance idea makes sense, but it does seem kind of, to Charles' point, a simple best practice would be to split it up between like 10, 20 different wallets, like having a cap of what's at each address. Like banks never hold up more than like 60 grand or whatever on hand.
Yeah. And
this exact
the
purpose,
issue with,
right?
Yeah. And it's like the issue with relying on a web app to manage your $1.4 billion wallet. It's like, no security researcher in the world is going to say that's a good idea, because it's like every web app is going to have 1 billion dependencies. If you go into the Gnosis Safe app, there are probably 500 different repositories that could be attacked to alter some dimension of the Safe app. If you've ever been a programmer, if you've ever programmed in the web and you've used, for example, NPM and you've installed node packages, and then you open up the 1 trillion gigabyte node modules file and you see 1,000 different directories all kind of, being pieced together to create the web app. Security engineers harp on this forever. And it's one of the reasons people hate MetaMask, because MetaMask has a lot of the same exposure. And obviously, like, getting at the core security of MetaMask is going to be borderline impossible. But, compromising the core of the Safe app is also going to be impossible. But still, here's $1.4 billion that's been stolen because of these dependencies, because there are all these connections across all these directories and you can't control for everything. Mm-hmm. And that's really the issue. And, that's why Safe app doesn't really have a good policy engine. If they were using Fireblocks, for example, there would be some middleware saying, hey, this amount can't be transferred over some period. We need to not let this transaction go through. So I would say, like, absolute massive oversight by the Bybit team. And this is probably something their security team, assuming they have a competent one, has been like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this, probably for years, and just like it being too annoying to migrate away. I guess this is like my way of saying, hey, if you've been thinking your security is inadequate and thinking, oh, I'm just going to save it, I'll fix it another day, do it today. If you download torrents on the same computer that you have your crypto wallet, buy a fucking $300 laptop and move all your keys to the $300 laptop. Stop visiting porn websites and downloading, Minecraft mods on the same computer you have your life savings. That's very stupid. It's like, just like, there needs to be separation of church and state, so to speak, if you want to not get $1.4 billion stolen from you.
Well, frightening stuff. This man in the middle attack is pretty scary, dude, because it sounds like it could just happen at anyone at any time.
I guess the thing is, like, executing such a huge man in the middle attack against such a highly secure app and organization, they're not going to do it. Like, they're not going to do it to steal your 50 grand, they're not going to do it to steal a couple 100,000. the amount of man hours and work put in, the amount of opportunity costs that a group like Lazarus has to work on a project like this, you need to have a shit ton of capital at risk. But that's not to say there aren't, like, some scammers just go low and they just try to make the broadest, most aggregated solutions, and hope they can hit enough people to make
Nigerian
it worthwhile.
Prince style versus like whale hunting, right?
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, this could be spear phishing. This could be any number of things to get the actual access.
I want to talk about the fallout effects of this, because it is quite interesting that this, I can't stress enough, this is a tremendous sum of money. $1.4 billion is, again, the largest heist according to the Google guys. It's the largest heist, bigger than when we invaded Iraq. By we, I mean the United States invaded Iraq. Saddam Hussein's son robbed the central bank for like all of their gold reserves, like all of the money on hand, and that was about $1 billion, just under $1 billion. So this is larger than that.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was like 15% of all hacks in crypto combined. So the total amount hacked from crypto just went up 15% from this one event.
Yeah.
Now, there is something to be said, though, that Bybit is still functional. All withdrawals are still processing normally. This is not an FTX style event. It doesn't appear to be. The hole has been somewhat patched by various loans. They're continuing operations, and things seem to be working kind of smoothly. So this is what I get at when I'm saying the silver lining of the space. They're showing some level of resiliency that should make you feel a little bit better, right? Like normally this kind of thing would be, if you remember previous large hacks, right, causing market-wide apocalypses, has this one been nearly as bad?
I mean, like, to another company, it would have been devastating, but Bybit is huge, deceivingly huge.
Yeah.
A lot of people would consider, on the perp side, them to be a tier 1 exchange. Their spot exchange is not, so great, not so highly traded, highly liquid, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think they can probably cover it. And I think it's like financing, like the financing that had to go on in the background to fill this hole, for it to happen so quickly, and for the Bybit CEO to just jump on stream and be so transparent about everything, that was so impressive. And I think demonstrated like it demonstrated the crypto ethos, I think, really well. As much as it was like, complicated financial goings on, it's like it executed quickly. I'm sure it was coordinated globally. And it was 100% transparent from the moment it was discovered. And their whole team was like available, giving you breaking news. And I know their LPs probably really appreciated that. And they're probably going to survive because they responded like that, even though this is such a absolutely insane exploit.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to give major props to the PR team, the BitGet PR team, and to the Bybit. Sorry, not BitGet. Sorry, BitGet. Anyone watching? But yeah, like, oh my god, them and the CEO, like, yeah, I just,
what do you think?
Came off as like such a Chad, and he was on the stream and he was like chilling. I was like, dude, how this guy's balls are made of like freaking mercury.
Uranium, dude. Mercury is probably the worst element you could have chosen.
What do you mean?
Because it's liquid. Heavy. No, mercury is very liquid.
Mercury is not that heavy.
Volatile.
Mercury is very heavy.
Tungsten
Right.
balls.
Fine.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think.
I'm sorry, Bybit CEO. Your balls are not made of mercury.
They're made of tungsten, dude. What do you think Kim Jong-un is going to do with all that money?
I think he's going to probably deposit it in his Codex AI agents.
Well, unfortunately, he's a degen, because it looks like instead what he's doing is launching a bunch of meme coins and shit on Solana and laundering to a bunch of wallets. Really unfortunate. Really unfortunate times, dude. Solana, again, not escaping the crime chain allegations. Again, I'm going to reference Trump, Melania, Libra, as revealed by Coffeezilla. Hayden, what's his name, involved in all of them pump and dump schemes, insider scams. We live in remorseless times, don't we, Beavis, Charles? We live in it. We're on all sides. We're beset by dogs and thieves. You know.
Yeah.
Is there even one righteous man in all of crypto, Charles? I don't know. It's further sign of the end times. Hooters is going bankrupt.
Yeah. I think Simply Charles is the one we've been waiting for.
Charles, I think you should change your @ to that. Simply Charles.
Simply Charles.
No.
I think it's quite charming. It sounds like you should host a cooking show.
Wow.
And then we've also got this further signs of the end times, dude. This is what we're working this field. This is AI, bro. This is what you're going to upload your AI agents into pretty soon. They're going to be trading on Wall Street trading floor.
That's awesome.
I
love that for us.
You really think that's awesome? Do you think that's horrifying?
I'm beyond like being shocked at this point by the shit that comes out of Silicon Valley. They're just watching like body horror films and are like, whoa, how can I apply this to my tech startup?
Thank you, Frasky. It is one of the densest metals.
He's saying
and that's what I was getting at. He's got dense balls. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Silicon Valley, I've been laughing. I'll say, eat Denver. I mean, I've been here for a day, but it's pretty funny. Like, if anyone's seen Silicon Valley, like, you know, like the Solo Mo, they go to like that hackathon and like all these developers are making presentations. They're like, we're Solo Mo. And then they're like, we're Molo So. And it's just like a bunch of like, it's like a lot of vaporware.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of like, I don't know. It's just like funny because you'll like chat with someone who's like, you're like, holy crap, this person is switched on. And then like you'll chat with someone else and they're just like shilling some random, some like really obviously just stupid app. And anyways, I'm laughing. I'm looking to talk to some people with like some level of self-awareness about like AI and crypto being the solution to literally to like world hunger, and kind of laughing at that, dude. Kind of, well, it's a lot of people who believe that.
We're gonna put beans on the blockchain. We tried it once, but this time we're gonna succeed, and it's gonna fix things. I'm promising you that.
Wow.
Finally. Well, guys, we're at the hour here. This has been a chaotic show, a strange and bizarre show, but I think it was pretty good. I think it was pretty fun. I had fun chatting with you guys. But there's one last question we have to answer before we can go, before I can free you from bondage here. What do CDX, North Korea, and Bybit have in common? Charles, you first. You're thinking. Beavis, you first. You're confident.
They're all worth at least $1.4 billion.
I like that.
Nice.
I like that. Charles?
I don't know. I got nothing good. I'm trying to think of a joke. I got nothing.
Down but not out. That's what I say.
Down but not out. Nice.
Down but not out. Never undefeated.
CDX is not.
CDX undefeated. North Korea undefeated.
They're all undervalued.
Undervalued. Slept on
North Korea is undervalued.
Yeah, they slept on.
Charles is going long on North Korea, folks. I don't know which venue he's doing it on, but he's also going to jail in the next 24 hours. So careful.
Yeah, this was a sting operation. Way to get you to Denver.
I'm fleeing back to Canada. They'll never extradite me.
Wow, that's what you think. Well, thanks, gents. I really appreciate your time today. And thank you for those of you that tuned in to watch our YouTube special, our YouTube exclusive special. And we are going to catch you next week on Codex Club. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and you'll see some interesting developments over the course of this week. I promise you that. All right, guys. Until next time.
Everyone.
Got that CDX token, we the ones chosen. Every state, every year, while I stay golden. Codex Club, AI my focus, it's an anthem. CDX got them frozen.